In 2014, our goal was to educate and inspire the next generation of young Black leaders. So we set out to find the nation's best of the best to reveal the secrets to success. Our belief is that we should teach the young early the things that we learn late. Our lives are shifting the culture. Our lives are changing the narrative. This is the ShineHard Conversation. What's up, ShineHard family? You're here tuned in to another season 4 episode of the ShineHard Conversation. As always, I'm your host, Johnny Bailey, and this week I'm in Washington, D.C. at Tech Hub N3 with serial entrepreneur Scooty. He's DC's own, a huge influence here in the DC community, started multiple businesses. He's associated with brands like Rock Creek Social, Premium Co., Diet Starts Monday, and even Broccoli City Fest. Today he's going to talk a little bit more about how to develop an identity in your community, how to make a brand go viral, and then of course some of the keys to his personal success. So without further ado, Scooty, it's time to shine, bro. So you're here, bro.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm cool.
Good. Working hard?
Yeah, always, man. That's every day.
Yeah, so let's dive into it. People see your story online and they see, the brands that you're associated with and things that you're doing, but a lot of times they don't really know how your journey began. I saw one of your recent posts, you kind of dove into that. Talk a little bit about your childhood and what growing up in DC was like for you.
Growing up in DC, like when I grew up, like I just turned 36 yesterday, so I grew up.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. I grew up in the city in the late 80s and the early 90s when, murder capital, all of the negative parts of DC were kind of like, like they were like the things that that was like the regular norm.
The prevalence of what people do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, so it was a time for, for you as a person, you were either gonna like use those things as fuel to a fire to do something positive, or you were gonna let them kind of take control of you and you were gonna dive into the same things that took people down that were before you or even beside you.
Right. So you've had a ton of businesses, more than people even know. And I think that's part of the mystique for Scooty and Unkle Scooty, as we know you on Instagram and social. People know all the brands that you're associated with, but they don't really know how they got started or what your title is per se in each of your brands. So can you talk a little bit more about your companies, Rock Creek, Premium, Diet, and how they've come into fruition and who you work with in each brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is Rock Creek Social Club. So Rock Creek Social Club started in 2010.
Yeah.
It was the idea of my partner, Jerome Baker, and he wanted to put together a group of individuals, like-minded individuals who were kind of, for lack of a better term, we were the others in the city. When you think about like blacks in the city, like everything is always compared to urban, but there's
a lot of different types of black people.
Exactly.
Have you seen Dear White People?
Huh?
Have you seen Dear White People?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a new show on Netflix, but it talks about all the different types
I've heard
of black
about
people
it,
out there. Yeah, so it's pretty good.
But yeah, so he just had an idea, that creatives, artists, designers, and just people in general that just love and embrace culture.
Creatives per se.
But some people that embrace the culture, they're not necessarily creatives.
True.
They just have an appreciation for it, an understanding of people and embracing differences. There was no place for any of us to go.
Wow.
And
so you guys saw that void and just.
It was his idea to do it, to make it, or to put together this super group. You know what I mean? To kind of make that happen.
Right.
And that was myself, Jerome, Geronimo, Lamine, and Modi, who started Trelectro.
Right.
So we came together, Rock Creek Social Club. We had a launch party And it wasn't we didn't think that we were going to do parties. It was kind of just like a thing where we were just launching the brand, but people loved it. They were like, there's nothing like this in the city. You know, there's no dress code. We weren't charging people to get in. We had an open bar.
All the perks, shit.
We weren't,
Why not come?
there was never a press for tables or bottle service. It was like, yo, if you come in here, if you're showing us love, if this table is open, if you want to stand on it, then you just stand on it and we don't care, you know? And
how did Rock Creek build your brand? What did it do for you as a influencer in DC?
I think at that time, you know, I mean, I've always been super popular. So it was just, and people always knew that I was always doing cool stuff and I was always doing innovative stuff. It was just the fact that, you know, the two situations that I was in, they were situations that I didn't necessarily start, and I came on the tail end still doing what I was already doing in school, was trying to help somebody, you know, with whatever it was that they were doing, and it wasn't necessarily, I didn't have as much influence as I should have had, and ultimately, like, the decision to shut these companies down wasn't mine.
Right.
It was theirs. It was like, this is not working because of this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, like, but we rolling right now, and I see.
Yeah, you had the vision.
I had the vision, but it's like, but you can't. It's your vision.
Right.
Like, you can't show it to somebody else, you know. And even if you do, they're still not going to be able to see it the way that you do.
Right.
So that was one, and then, you know, and then the second one was, you know, it was just a group of people that just had other stuff going on at that time. You know, two of my business partners with the second clothing line, like, they had kids, they had multiple kids.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they could be in the streets.
That wasn't their only baby.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so ultimately, like, that's what brought that to an end.
So did that, like, creative, you were feeling a bit creatively stifled, it sounds like, where you weren't able to make all the moves and really manifest the vision. Is that what really brought Premium Co. to the forefront? And you was like, I'm gonna start my own thing, or find someone who I can start my own thing with?
No, so here's the thing. So Rock Creek Social Club is on, and it's booming. You know what I mean? We're number one party in the city. We're bringing everyday people. Like, the first time that it had ever come out of New York was in DC, and we brought it here. You know, 40-ounce bounce. You know, at this point we're on to Broccoli City Fest. You know, Modi was still very much a part of Rock Creek Social Club, and he had started Trelectro. So everything is, like, clicking.
It's alive and well.
You know what I'm saying? We're good. Like, we're in a super good place. And we had started talking about doing merch, and we had dabbled in that a little bit, and people were feeling it. You walk around the city and you see everybody.
You had the experience.
Had the experience. So you know, fast forward from 2010 to 2013, so 3 years. 2013, I just happened to be online, was researching, you know, saying just some fashion stuff or whatever, and I ended up coming across Premium Co., who was already an established brand. At the time, they were not doing clothes; they were doing men's accessory jewelry pieces.
Okay.
And I, like, you know, I would make comments on stuff that I liked, and someone on the opposite end would respond to me. I thought that was kind of dope, because most brands didn't do that.
Right.
I saw that they were super young, you know, didn't have a lot of followers, but had like a large enough following, and they were in a couple of accounts at the time.
Was it a partnership opportunity you were seeing there, or what were you thinking?
I wasn't seeing anything at the moment. The only thing I saw was, you have something that I like, and I'm trying to purchase this because I need it.
Yeah.
And a couple, you know, I'm following them for maybe like a couple months or whatever like that, and I noticed that they had posted the Broccoli City flyer on the IG page, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. So I go back to the IG page, and I'm like, okay, now I'm reading the bio, and it's like DC, Hampton, Kentucky, Louisville. Like, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, yo, oh, you know Phil Ade, because they had commented, you know, my boy Phil Ade is performing at this. I was like, yo, like, this is my festival. Phil is my boy. I'm hosting. Are you coming to this? Like I want to link with you just to meet up. So And at the time I'm talking to my business partner Davin, and he was supposed to come through. He never came to the festival, which is like so much like him. Fast forward now, didn't come to the festival. Then he's supposed to come to the after party that I was hosting, and Phil was like, I guess he was hosting too.
Right. This is Broccoli City Fest.
This is the first one.
Okay.
And 2013, and Davin still didn't come to the. He didn't come to the after party either. So I said, damn. I was like, man, who is this dude? Mystery. So we ended up like talking over the phone. We had exchanged numbers. We talked on the phone. We were like, yo, we're gonna meet up. We ended up meeting at Thunderburger in Georgetown.
Okay.
And I literally like sat down with him, and with no intentions of like where we are now. It was really more so like, yo, you got some dope product. I know everybody in the city. I know that I can help you. You know,
get your stuff
off. Get your stuff off or whatever. I can introduce you to the people that you need to be introduced to.
Right.
And you know, like that's how we started off. And he was like, yo, I actually, you know, I'm looking for somebody to help with sales and marketing. And I was like, well, I never sold, you know, like never sold anything in that sense, or what he was talking about. We're talking about stores and you know, getting accounts all over the country. I'm like, I know a lot of people, but I'm like, I don't know if that's you know, really gonna work. But he was like, man, I think you could do it. And I was like, well, you know, I'm interested. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's cool, and maybe we could work something out. So, you know, we ended up maybe like 2 months just going back and forth. We would meet up, and I was helping him to push, you know, saying these accessory pieces. Yeah. And after 2 months, we were traveling on the road together to Vegas. And I was like, yo, if we can survive in this room together, like we'll be good. Cause I'm super OCD. I'm like I like everything clean or whatever, you know. And I called my wife at the time, and I was like, yo, man, like maybe me and this dude could work. Cause I was like, cause he's almost just like me. You know what I mean? Like OCD wise. So man, we just started traveling everywhere: Vegas, LA, New York, and you know, from the traveling, he saw how many people I really knew that were just outside of DC. Yeah. And then the road just started like, you know, transitioning
so
into something.
So you started doing, fast forward to a little bit more recent, than where you guys are doing pop-up shops in the city with Premium Co.
Right. Well, the first thing that we had to do was we had to transition from a men's accessory line to a clothing line. Right. So we started adding in the clothes, and then the jewelry kind of just took a back seat for a couple different reasons, but the jewelry kind of took a back seat. So for me, like, agreeing to come on, it was because I felt like, all right, now I'm not really piggybacking off of or joining something like I had did before, where you guys already have your thing started. I felt like this is a different chapter, and this is something that we were all starting together.
How important is that? Do you feel like working with a team is important to build a massive brand, or do you think you can do it by yourself?
No, definitely need a team.
So how soon do you get people in? Is it better to establish something and then recruit talented leaders to come in, or is it better to birth that idea together at the table?
It all depends on what type of person you are. It all depends on what type of business that you're running, because, you know, you might find that one particular person, like Davin will say all the time, like, when he and I met, I was like a diamond in a rough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were able to hit it off just like that. Right. I've never had an argument with this dude. He's like my brother. Our other business partner,
That's
Tyler.
Rare.
Yeah, never had an argument with him, but it's my temperament. You know what I mean? I came from a place before I met them where it was always so negative that now I'm just always positive person. Right. So I don't believe anything should ever be above a drink and a conversation. You know, I'm understanding, I'm loyal, and I'm patient.
You've become one of DC's biggest influencers and inspirations. And I think it's always fascinating for me to not only see who influences, but who inspires the influencers. So I'm curious to know, if you had to name 2 or 3 people, who would be on the Mount Rushmore of inspiration for Scooty?
In this city?
All time, just in life.
Oh man, all time? Damn, that's hard. I don't want to say Mount Rushmore, but I'll just say some people that I think that are super dope. I think Virgil is dope.
Okay, Virgil?
Yeah, Virgil Abloh.
Okay.
Right. I think Virgil was dope. I look at, I think Magic Johnson is dope. I look at him as a person who, you know, he's a fighter, you know, and then also, I mean, he's an amazing example of an entrepreneur. Like Magic Johnson was like one of the first like black people that we knew that was like opening like multiple businesses.
Yeah.
Starbucks, coffee, you know, movie theaters and everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like very, very early on. I think Barack Obama.
True. It's one of my favorites.
Where like him, I think about, people always talk about like, you know, like his struggle to get to, you know, to the point where he became the president of the United States. But I think about what it was like to wake up every day like with millions of people that, you know, that hated him. Never really had a clear understanding, but just something that he just had to wake up and just deal with every day. Like a person that could take that type of pressure
scrutiny.
or that type of scrutiny, or, you know, people bashing that much hate, and still wake up every day, you know, like with a smile on his face and like, and still love and care about those people just as much as he loves and cares about the people that feel the same way about him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how do you not, you know, want to like get on the, you know, get on TV and say, man, fuck this teleprompter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell y'all like what's on my heart right now. You know what I mean? Like, or like, was that what was really like on his heart? Cause like, I mean, cause he made me a believer.
Yeah.
So I think like,
special type of man,
yeah.
just like a special type of person to overcome that type of stuff. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Strength.
So I think like creatively, like Virgil, you know, if we're talking about like entrepreneur, I think, you know, Magic, and if we're just talking about just overall like humanitarian, like you know, I'm looking at like Barack.
Bet. So a major part of this project is passion. And what we go by is passion changes everything. And we say that because I feel like your passion helps you find your purpose.
Right.
So it seems like you found your passion. You've been through a lot of jobs, you've been through a lot of struggle and turmoil, but you're doing something and you're flourishing. What would you say is your passion, and when did you know?
I mean, since day one, since I moved out of the city, it was always a goal for me to somehow, some way, be able to get myself in a position where I was going to be able to influence, you know, the people that I felt like I had left behind. So every single day with everything that I do, whether it's Rock Creek Social Club, whether it's Premium Code, whether it's Diet Starts Monday, whether it's Broccoli City Fest, it is very important for me to always highlight the city that I'm from, you know, and always, you know, shine a light on some of those people that are now today like being forgotten about.
Right.
Like, so that's my passion.
What's been the biggest challenge in your life?
The biggest challenge is making that happen. You know what I mean? Like, we're right now in this city, like we're going through gentrification, you know, on every single block.
We got luxury apartment buildings popping up every
Luxury
single
apartment buildings,
block,
you know,
pushing
I mean,
everybody out.
Not even just pushing everybody out, but they're watering down the brand. They're watering down our culture, you know? I mean, it's great to embrace different cultures. I'm all for that 110%, you know what I mean? I love the diversity of the city. I feel like people here march to their own drum, you know, but there is still a huge, like, I mean, like, beautiful culture that is here, it's still here in a lot of different pockets, and we gotta find those things and we gotta pull those things out. And us as influencers that are from here, like, we have to make it so that we're talking about them all the time. KD winning, you know, a ring and then shouting out, you know,
DMV
DC, and DC and PG County and all those type of things. You know, name another athlete, you know, other than LeBron that's screaming their city on national TV.
That's real.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about.
And KD's the type of guy, you know, he had a dream to actually do that. So when he actually achieved it, it was inspiring for all of us. Do you think that everybody has a dream at some point?
Absolutely. I feel like everybody has a dream.
What separates the people from who have made their dreams a reality and the people who haven't?
drive. You know, that's Die Starts Monday. People that had the potential to do great things that don't do it for one reason or another or no reason at all. You know what I mean? Like, or passion. You know what I mean? Like, what are you dreaming about? Like, are you dreaming about $1 million just because you don't want to be broke, or you dreaming about how you're going to affect and change the world and make a couple of coins in between?
Right. What's your why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's real. What inspires you to succeed?
Kids, man. You know, like the
kids?
the youth. My one. I know, not kids with an S. No, just the kids that I've worked with, that I still keep, relationships with, that are in college right now or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're following my lead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the further I go, the further that they're going to go. If I continue to raise the bar high, then they got a long, got a long way to go.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
If I give up now, then what?
That's real. So there's a lot of things going on social media. I'm sure you're on there, you're branding your things, and I see a lot of things going on online. And I'm always curious to ask influencers who experience the social media handles and also greatly impact them, what frustrates you the most about today's culture?
Man, people living lies, you know what I mean? Like, you everyday balling. Like, nobody's life is, like that. Even with people with money, that go through your everyday struggles. Like, people that just make it seem like everything is PG King, or like they, you're a rapper and all of a sudden you got a song with Travis Scott and you ain't had to work to get it because he was calling you, and you know what I mean? Like, just this fairy tale life. And it influences the youth to think that it's supposed to happen like that for them. So they always looking for a finesse. Nobody wants to work anymore. Everybody wants to pick your brain. You know what I mean? Like, picking my brain, is a consultant fee. You know what I mean?
Hello.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I created my coaching platform.
You know what I mean? Like, I worked hard. Like, I just gave y'all an hour of my life, everything that I had to go through. And you just think just because you know me or because we Instagram friends, I'm supposed to give you that just cause. Like,
there's a price tag on that, homie.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't even necessarily have to be about money, but it's just about, this is priceless. Like, this is what I had to go through, and I'm just not willing to give it up. And when you say that to people, it's an automatic attitude, or people that, because you have 10,000 followers and I have 4,000 followers. I'm doing a lot more than you, but because you have those 10,000 followers, you think that you and I are on the same level, and we're not on the same level.
Can't really measure impact.
Exactly.
And definitely not on social media.
Definitely not on social media, but in people's minds, like, that's what they think.
Yeah.
And therefore people approach you in that manner as if they're doing you a favor. It's like, I just opened up a spot with my partners. Like, we opened up a spot on 14th Street. We had an idea. I had a vision that I shared with my partners, and they had a vision for a line called Die Starts Monday. We had a conversation about it in February. We were able to open up our spot May 1st. There are people who have millions of dollars that can't even do that.
People would dream to make that, expedite that type of process.
You should be walking up to me and shaking my hand like, man, like, bro, like congratulations, like, that's dope. Talking to my partners, Davin, John, like, that's dope.
So when you translate that, what advice do you have for the next generation of young entrepreneurs on how they can do what you've done?
You just gotta work. That's it. You just gotta work for it, and not look for a handout all the time. You should not expect a handout. When a handout comes, or when somebody pulls you to the side and gives you a little piece of advice, or push you in a place that gives you an opportunity to get you to the next level, like, it's just like a bonus. But just because it can be done doesn't necessarily mean that you should always expect it. Like, that's just not how the world works.
Yeah. Well, Scooty, that's a wrap for this week's ShineHard Conversation, man. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Glad you on. Can't wait to put you on more platforms, tell your story and inspire the DC youth. Let everybody know how they can find you online and what your handles are.
Handles are just Unkle Scooty on everything. UNKLE SCOOTY. You can follow my team at Rock Creek Social, at Diet Starts Monday __ Premium _co.
So many brands.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, that's it, man.
Cool. You guys can find me, Johnny Bailey, at @1JohnnyBailey. Follow the ShineHard family at ShineHardFam across all platforms. As I said earlier, we're actually shooting here at N3 Inclusive Incubator. Make sure you guys swing by here if you're ever in DC. It's on the campus of Howard University. It's geared towards young Black entrepreneurs and supporting the underserved community. I love what they're doing here, guys. So if you ever get a chance, please stop through. They have tons of events, and yeah, it's just a dope spot. Find your passion. Remember, there's always a struggle before triumph. And at the end of the day, just shine for the culture. Again, our goal is to help young Black boys and girls discover their passion and change the world, but we cannot do this without the help of the ShineHard community. Will you be the milestone donor that helps a 17-year-old Black girl learn the path of a plastic surgeon? Will you be the keystone donor that helps a 22-year-old graduate break through into the tech industry? We as a community can accomplish so much together, but the time to act is now. Here's what you can do. Scroll down, click donate, and invest in the future of our community. I'm Johnny Bailey, and together we shine.